Joumana Kayrouz. You've seen her images on giant billboards across the metro. Joumana Kayrouz. You've seen her images on buses across the city. Now get to know Joumana Kayrouz.
The war broke out in my home country, Lebanon. I was 11 years old, and I saw a lot of bloodshed and inequality and poverty. You can't grow up in an environment like that and not be affected by it and not want to make a difference. I graduated from Yale University with a master's in ethics. I speak 4 languages. It has always been innate in me fighting for the underdog and trying to do whatever it is I can to make a difference in the world.
Let Joumana Kayrouz protect your rights. Call the law offices of Joumana Kayrouz at 1-866-YOUR-RIGHTS, extension 100, or visit yourrights.com.
برنامج يور رايتس مع المحامية جومانا كيروز المختصة في قضايا حوادث السيارات، مع نخبة من المحامين في اختصاصات عدة منها الطلاق والهجرة والإفلاس، يأتيكم الآن على الهواء مباشرة. أسعد الله أوقاتكم بالخير. أهلا بكم مستمعينا في حلقة جديدة من برنامج يور رايتس مع المحامية جومانا كيروز، وحلقة اليوم مخصصة لقضايا الإفلاس، ومكاتب المحامية جومانا كيروز تستقبل قضاياكم متعلقة بالبيرسونال انجريز، قضايا حوادث السيارات، قضايا الهجرة والتجنس، الإفلاس، قضايا الكريمنال لو، فاميلي لو، والضمان الاجتماعي وإصابات العمل. الاستشارات دائما مجانية. تفوري 557-3645. حلقات برنامج يور رايتس يعاد بثها على الموقع الإلكتروني yourrights.com/radio أو على اليوتيوب. كل ما عليكم البحث عن قناة جومانا كيروز. تحياتنا لكم. أهلا وسهلا بك جومانا.
صباح الخير رامي. صباح الخير لكل المستمعين. صباح الخير للمحامي مايكل بانكستين.
هلو مايكل.
مثل كل هلو مايكل.
هاي جماعة.
مثل كل 3 بنحكي عن موضوع الإفلاس. من تقريبا بعض الأسابيع قررنا إنه نوسع الموضوع كل نهار 3. صحيح نحن موجودين هون لحتى نجاوب بالتحديد الاختصاصي بالموضوع المحامي مايكل بانكستين ليجاوب على أسئلة أي متصل بخصوص البانكربسي، بخصوص الإفلاس، إذا الإنسان مؤهل للإفلاس، شو الفرق بين شابتر 7 مؤهل لشابتر 13، شو التكاليف، شو الأشياء اللي بينعفى عنها بالبانكربسي. هيدول كلهم المحامي مايكل بانكستين بيقدر يجاوب عنهم. وإنما من تقريبا 2 أو 3 قررنا إنه منجاوب على هدول الأسئلة ليلي بحب يتصل، بس بالإضافة رح نوسع الموضوع شوي ونتكلم عن شيء اسمه بالإنجليزي financial literacy، لأنه بالنهاية كتير أوقات وإنما ليس دائما. ليه بقول؟ لأنه ليس دائما أوقات الأشخاص بيضطروا يقدموا بانكربسي لأنه خسروا their job. بنحكي عن 2008 recession، نحكي عن الريسيشن اللي كتير عالم عم بيقولوا بندخل فيها. في كتير أشخاص اضطروا يقدموا بانكربسي لأنه خسروا their jobs. بس كقاعدة عامة أوقات سلوكنا بما بخص بالمادة وبالمصاري أوقات هي اللي بتوصلنا لتقديم البانكربسي. التوعية على هذا الموضوع اللي بيسموه بالإنجليزي financial literacy شيء بفتكر مهم وبنقدر نفيد بعضنا البعض. along this vein عم بلشنا نوسع شوي. حكينا عن كريدت كاردز، حكينا عن شو بيصير وقت الإنسان بيدفع المينيموم كريدت كاردز وإلى آخره. في كتير أشياء لازم نتكلم عنها، لازم نوعي بعضنا البعض فيها، وهي يمكن ما خاصة directly بموضوع الإفلاس، بس خاصة indirectly، لأنه ممكن indirectly عدم التوعية أو عدم الإدراك يوصلنا للإفلاس، أو على الأقل يوصلنا ل paycheck to paycheck اللي هي كمان بتعيش العالم باضطراب وبقلق. أول شغلة بدي أقولها اليوم، حكيت عن السيدة سوزي أورمان اللي هي is a financial expert في الولايات المتحدة، معروفة محترمة، بتطلع على كتير من الميجر نيوز نتوركس، عندها بس سيلينج بوكس. والجميل بسوزي أورمان بتحكي بطريقة كتير بسيطة وبتوصل الفكرة بطريقة كتير سهلة سريعة وبسيطة. يعني كنت عم بتطلع تحضيرا لبرنامج اليوم، كنت عم بتطلع شوي على الفيديوز اللي موجودين أونلاين، كل فيديو دقيقة ونص، يعني to the point، أي إنسان بيقدر يفهمه. فاليوم حبيت اطلع عن شو رأيها بموضوع البانكربسي، شو نصائحها بما بهم بالبانكربسي، ورح نحكي شوي عن هدول المواضيع اليوم. كبداية بدي بلش وأقول إنه صحيح رئيس جمهورية أمريكا disagrees بهيدا الموضوع، بس في كتير أشخاص عم بيقولوا، في كتير خبراء عم بيقولوا إنه الولايات المتحدة للأسف، ومش بس الولايات المتحدة، رح تدخل بريسيشن مثل وقت اللي صار فينا بال2007 وصلت لل 2008 ريسيشن اللي ملايين الأشخاص lost their jobs. المحامي مايكل بانكستين صار له شهور وشهور بيبعت لي links to articles about the Dow going down and معلومات إضافية، لأنه he called it، قال لي من أكتر من سنة إذا مش غلطانة إنه we are heading into a recession. وفي كتير خبراء كمان بيقولوا إنه it is a cycle، يعني دايما الإيكونومي بتدخل ريسيشن بتطلع من ريسيشن، بتدخل ريسيشن بتطلع من ريسيشن، بتدخل ريسيشن بتطلع من ريسيشن. so الظاهر انه نحن رح نكون داخلين بريسيشن بعد 6 أشهر، بعد سنة، بعد سنة ونص. بصراحة ما بعرف. رح أقري لك بعض العناوين من CNN مثلا وغير أماكن. هيدا من CNN: 5 of the world's biggest economies are at risk of recession. The Federal Reserve Chairman، مين بدك أكتر من رئيس البنك المركزي الأمريكي، acknowledges، بيعترف إنه there is a growing risk of showdown, but he's not very specific about it. Another article, a global recession may be coming a lot sooner than anyone thought. The articles go on and on. نحن ليه عم نحكي عن الريسيشن على فكرة؟ لأنه اللي بيجي مع الريسيشن هو loss of jobs. واللي بيجي مع الريسيشنز is الايكونومي ما بتعود تعطي قد ما اجمالا بتعطي، يعني ما بيعود في مادة بين العالم، وهيدي بتوصل للإفلاس. article تاني: I know CNN is biased. I do not argue with that. وإنما article تاني من CNN بيقول إنه the US economy created 500,000 fewer jobs last year than we previously thought. So رئيس الجمهورية بيقول شيء، بعض الخبراء بيقولوا شيء تاني. The point is في كتير عالم عم يحكوا عن الريسيشن. ليش عم نحكي عن الريسيشن؟ لأنه الريسيشن للأسف بتوصل لخسارة الجوبز، وخسارة الجوبز بتوصل لتقديم البانكربسي، لتقديم الإفلاس. بال2007 وقت صارت الريسيشن تبع 2007-2008 تقديم الإفلاس على 32%، و1.1 مليون 1.1 مليون من الأشخاص اللي عايشين في الولايات المتحدة قدموا بانكربسي. وحدة تانية صارت بال2012 حتى صار في 1.3 مليون people who applied for bankruptcy. مشان هيك نحن عم نحكي عن هيدا الموضوع. Attorney مايكل بانكستين: We do not want to spend a whole lot of time about recession and bad news and about fears of people, losing their job, because that's how a recession hits us, right?
That's right.
Okay. So you've been calling it. You've been warning me. You have had, in fact, the day I interviewed you, maybe it was a second interview at the Townsend Hotel in Birmingham, you said in about 18 months to 2 years, we will be heading toward the recession.
That's correct.
Do you remember that interview?
I do.
That job interview?
I do.
That was the second one, so it was in a more informal setting. You've been sending me articles after articles of, the Dow Jones goes down, and again, you've been sending me articles for months and months.
I'd like to give you my 1.5-minute pitch on the summary of what that all kind of boils down to.
Please do.
There are certain predictable signs of recession, one of which, and I'll explain what this means in a second.
Can I interrupt you for a minute?
Yes.
Can we start with telling the listeners why should they care to hear about that? Why should they care about a recession?
Well, if there's a recession and everything gets more expensive, and it gets harder to get a job, and it gets harder to borrow money, that's not good for anybody.
And it's get harder to keep a job, because in a recession, a lot of employers will let people go, will lay them off.
That's correct. I mean, that's an easy way for an employer to balance their books.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us about why did you call a recession as far back as, has it been about 2.5 years?
Close to 2 years.
Okay.
So there's certain predictable signs of a recession, one of which, and I'll explain what this means, is an inverted yield on the 2-month and the 10-year Treasury bonds. Normally, you're paid more for 10-year Treasury bonds, and you're paid less for a 2-month Treasury bond. The more 10-year bonds that are purchased, though, that will drive down the yield or the amount that you'll be paid when the Treasury bond matures. So when lots of people are flocking to that 10-year bond and it pushes the rate down so that you actually get paid less for a 10-year bond than you would get paid for a 2-year bond, that's called an inverted yield on the Treasury bonds. Every recession has been preceded by an inverted yield, and about a week or so ago, multiple times, we hit that inverted yield on the 2-month and the 10-year Treasury note. That's an important thing to watch. Mm-hmm. You'll also see...
I know this is very complicated, and I certainly, understand just a little bit of it, the Treasury bonds. I get that. But, suffice it to say that what you're saying is there are signs that have preceded recessions before that we're seeing that they are appearing now, such as 10 days ago when we had one of those inverted yields and the 10-year Treasury bond cost less than?
Right now, the 10-year is yielding less money than the 2-month note.
Yes, than the okay.
And the trade war between the United States and China is ongoing. That's continuing to be a source of instability in the economy.
That is very true.
It doesn't tend to be any one thing, but the trade war plus a lot of choppiness in the stock market. So people are really happy when the stock market goes up 400 points, but then 2 days later it goes down 400 or 500 points, and then it shoots up 600 points. And the choppier that gets, that's a real sign of instability. So
we're telling people about this. We're telling the listeners about this just to inform them that there may be a recession coming around. And the rate of bankruptcies tend to go up because, a lot of people end up unable to afford paying their debts or lose their jobs. And also because the advice that we have for one another is to live below your means if you can. Live below your means. And I'm going to borrow a beautiful sentence from Süze Orman. I don't take credit for it. That's one of the advices she gives for people who just filed for bankruptcy. She says, after you file and you emerge from bankruptcy, and I think this is advice we can give for now as we are entering what seems to be a recession, live below your means, but within your needs. In other words, if it's something you need, you buy. But if it's something you want, don't buy. Live below your means. Just because you make $3,000 a month does not mean you need to spend all of it. Live below your means. Is that good advice as we think we're entering a recession?
That's true. Like the old saying goes, save for a rainy day, because sometimes if you're living check to check and then the economy downturns, it might be, the economy did it. But part of the problem was the recession is very efficient at exposing existing structural weaknesses in somebody's finances.
That is why another expert does say that you really should have 6 months, is it a year to 18 months of reserve if you are a family? And if you are a single person, 6 months to a year. Meaning if you spend $100,000 a year and you are a family, you should reserve, you should put aside. I know it's easier said than done, but it's certainly something we can keep in mind and work toward. Then if you are a single person, have about $50,000 set aside for a rainy day. And if you are a family, have $100,000 to $150,000 set aside for a rainy day. يمكن عنا اتصال، بس قبل ما ناخده بدي بس لخص بطريقة سريعة. recession بالعربي شو هي؟
ركود اقتصادي.
ركود. اوكي. كل العوامل عم بتدل انه نحن فايتين بركود اقتصادي. ليش عم نتكلم عن هذا الموضوع؟ مش لحتى نبشر بالاشياء السيئة and be the bearer of bad news، لا، لانه اول نصيحة هي نذكر بعضنا البعض مثل ما بتقول الاختصاصية Süze Orman, live below your means but within your needs. يعني if you need something, get it. But if it's something you want but you don't need, don't get it. لأنه ما بنعرف شو المستقبل نطرنا، شو نوع المستقبل اللي نطرنا. لو وقت بيكون وقت بيصير في ركود اقتصادي، يعني في عمال بيخسروا الجوبز تبعهم. يعني المعيشة بتصير أغلى، وكل ركود اقتصادي بيلحقوا increase in bankruptcy filings. يعني نحن الشغل عنا رح يصير للأسف أكتر، لأنه إذا داخلين بركود اقتصادي هيدي دايما نتائج الركود الاقتصادي. People will leave their jobs, things will be more expensive. So نصيحة أنه نذكر بعضنا البعض أنه نعيش أقل من قدرتنا، أقل من قدرتنا. وكيف منعرف؟ إذا شغلي بحاجة إلها منعملها منشتريها، إذا شغلي منا بحاجة إلها ما بنشتريها. مثلا بتقول كمان I don't take credit for all this. الخبيرة سوزي أورمان بتقول الأكل but not أكل at a restaurant. هذا الفرق. أكل من الجروسري ستور is a need. أكل من الرestaurant is a want. Yes to the first, no to the second. هيك بتعرف إنه you are living below your means. ليه below your means؟ لأنه يمكن يبقى لك مصاري. That's the whole idea at the end of the year, at the end of the month. يعني بتعمل $3000 خلي يبقى لك $1000 لأنه عشت أقل من قدرتك. So هيدي أول نقطة بدنا نوصلها. واليوم رح اخذ بعض المقتطفات من سوزي أورمان اللي بتقولن بالواضح وبطريقة سهلة وبطريقة بتوصل الفكرة بطريقة كتير طبيعية للأشخاص. بس قبل ما نبلش معها بناخذ اتصال. Hello.
Hello.
يا أهلا وسهلا.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good. I have a question. My husband currently owns a business. It's an LLC. And while we were opening the business, we had some financial problems. So his credit went bad. Now, if we wanted to file for bankruptcy, he does have a business, but his business in general has no equity in it. Like, his business is himself. You know what I mean?
The business is him.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and we do have a house. It has a mortgage on it. The mortgage, you can say there's about $80,000-$90,000 equity in the house.
Okay.
But I am not on the title.
Okay.
So how does bankruptcy work with that?
Okay. And who are we speaking with?
My name is Fatima.
Fatme. Thank you, Fatme. Let me summarize. Your husband owns an LLC. The business has no equity. You have a house with a mortgage. You have about $80,000 to $90,000 in equity on the home. You're not on the title. Who wants to file for bankruptcy? The business or your husband or both of you?
No, my husband personally. No, the business has no debt.
Okay. Has no equity but no debt.
Yeah, my husband, like, his job is himself. He's the tools. You know what I mean? Everything is handmade.
Okay. So your husband wants to file bankruptcy. Only your husband, not husband and wife and not the business, correct?
Correct. Just
Okay.
him personally.
Okay. So سيدة فاطمة زوجها عنده business حابب يقدم bankruptcy. عندهم بيت عليه mortgage. البيت في قيمة في equity تقريبا بين ال 80 وال 90 ألف دولار. اسمها منه على التايتل. بتريد انه زوجها وحده يقدم bankruptcy، مش هي، مش ككابل ولا البزنس. Attorney Michael Bankstein.
Well, the first thing that jumps out at me, hi Fatima.
Hi.
The first thing that jumps out at me is $80,000 to $90,000 in equity on the house, and your husband's the only one on the deed. When somebody files for bankruptcy, now, if you're talking about a Chapter 7 debt liquidation bankruptcy, that's the 6 months or less without having to make any payments to
Well,
the
we will have
creditors.
to advise them. First of all, everybody dreams of filing for Chapter 7 because it's faster, quicker, and you
Right.
start fresh.
Right.
But some people don't qualify, so they are stuck needing to file for Chapter 13.
Well, that's
so
what
what
I'm-
first advice would you give Fatmi's husband? Is he a candidate for Chapter 7 or Chapter 13?
I don't think he's a good candidate for a Chapter 7 because he's got way too much equity in the house.
Now,
there's-
usually because we're a married couple, can't I always add myself to the title of the house? Because I do get half of it by law. We are married.
the
And I
pro-
have 4 kids.
I hear what you're saying, but there's also another issue when somebody files for bankruptcy. It's called a fraudulent transfer. It doesn't mean necessarily that someone has any fraudulent intent, but whenever someone makes a transfer of property within the 6 years before they file for bankruptcy, and they receive less than market value. So if he's just putting you on the deed, essentially he's giving away a 1/2 interest in the house for less than market value, and that would be problematic in a Chapter 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so however you slice it or dice it, a Chapter 7 does not sound like a
And
good option.
Fatme, this is something, the fraudulent transfer within 6 years of filing bankruptcy is something we have talked about many times, and we will continue to
Yes.
talk about. And you certainly have no intent to defraud. I mean, this is your husband after all. But that's how the law, that's how the trustee will look at it. It's considered fraudulent conveyance unless, you buy half of the value. Okay, so
If I can buy half of the value, I'll close his debt off.
I know that. That's why I'm laughing. So,
Yeah.
Attorney Michael Bankstein, the first question is, it seems like because he has too much equity in the home, he will not be a candidate for the better option, which is Chapter 7, but it looks like he will be a candidate for Chapter 13.
That's
Next.
correct. Chapter 13 or debt negotiation. Yeah, those are
Or
possibilities.
debt negotiation. Fatmi, we didn't talk about your husband's debt. Can you tell us what kind of debt does he have?
It's just credit cards,
Okay.
and they've been on there for a while. Nothing was reset. We were making payments for quite a long time, and then just got to the point where the business kicked in and it wasn't working good at first, and then where we had to use everything we had to start out the business.
So I want to
know what
ask
I
you.
mean?
I want to ask you two very quick questions. Number one, are you able to tell us when was the last time he ever made a payment, even if it's $1, because that kicks the statute another 6 years? When was the
Yes.
last time?
The last time he made a payment was probably a year ago.
Okay. And what is the combined amount of his credit card?
You can say about 50.
50,000?
Yes. Yes.
Because one of the options that Attorney Michael Bankstein, not everything, the solution is not always bankruptcy. Sometimes the solution is debt renegotiation, and we can help people avoid bankruptcy altogether. So
And that's settle for less, right?
that's right. So, Attorney Michael Bankstein, $50,000 in debt. Do you think that he has a good chance at, I know, I see that you're pulling your calculator here. Does he have a good chance at going the debt negotiation route versus the bankruptcy route?
Whether it's a Chapter 13 or a debt negotiation, there has to be enough disposable income left at the end of the month to either...
See, that's the problem. The business is not making enough money, and he's not making enough money.
There's another situation I've had. I've actually had a couple cases like this recently where somebody doesn't make enough of a positive cash flow to make Chapter 13 plan payments. They don't have enough left at the end of the month to be able to save up to make a lump sum settlement on a debt negotiation. They're technically over the amount of the equity exemption. But depending on what the value of the house is, for example, when if a trustee was to sell a house, they don't just push a button and get the money. There's a 6% real estate commission that would never be available to the creditors. There's also closing cost of anywhere from 1% to 3%. So if you figure about 2% of the closing cost, depending on what the value of the property is, sometimes the amount of those administrative expenses plus the exemption won't completely cover the equity in the house, but it gets it close enough where you can work some kind of a settlement out with the trustee.
So put simply, if he's not making money, how can he enter into that negotiation?
Well, it's based on holding on to the money. The negotiation part I was talking about with a Chapter 7 trustee.
No, I'm talking about debt renegotiation.
Sure, I mean,
instead of bankruptcy.
However you fund it, you have to be able to pay off the settlement when you do reach a settlement with your creditors in
And
a lump.
is that going to be about maybe 40% of the 50,000?
It's around 40 to 45 cents on the dollar on average.
So Fatme, if he has $50,000 in debt, if somebody or yourselves enter into negotiation with the credit cards, at the end, they're going to want a lump sum payment, and it's going to be anywhere between 40 to 45%. It's going to take about a year and a half. So you have time to come up with that money. So consider on a 50,000 that you're going to have to pay somewhere between one time payment, somewhere between 20 to 25,000. It's going to take a year and a half. That renegotiation takes time. It takes time. So that is your friend. And of course, you stop paying, and of course, his credit goes bad. But hey, I mean, if he files bankruptcy, his credit is going to go bad as well. So,
but I have another simple question. Now, Chapter 13, which is they see how much you have left over and they give you a sum to pay every end of the month. Now, do they recalculate it every year or every 2 years, or is this amount stable? It stays the same?
that's a good question. What if his income goes further down or further up? Because Chapter 13 is anywhere between 3 to 5 years, right?
That's correct. So generally what happens is the case will confirm. There's a couple of hearings that you have, but then what confirmation means is that any objections to the plan of repayment have been resolved. The judge has signed what's known as an order confirming plan. At that point, whatever you've agreed to pay and what everyone else is okay with tends to be the amount that you pay. Now, if your income goes down, your expenses go up, there is a mechanism for adjusting that payment amount. It's called plan modification. Of course, if you get a year down the road and you're making more money, then obviously you don't have an interest in saying, hey, let's modify the plan to pay more. So generally speaking,
I don't go to them and tell them let's modify the amount, the monthly payment stays stable, whether the income goes up or down.
Well, yeah, I mean, if your income goes down and you're not able to make the payments, there is a way to lower the payments. But if you wind up making more money later, it's not your job or our job to say to the court.
You don't have a duty to say
hey
to
guys,
the court,
I can double the
I'm
amount I'm
making
paying.
more money, so let me pay off my debtors.
Correct.
Fatma, you appear to be very educated about the subject.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I have a good background about it, but my only concern was, and I did get the right answer that I was thinking about, was the house. How do they appraise house?
I was going to address that. And in Chapter 13, what happens to his home or to their home?
If you're able to continue making the payments, then you can keep your home. Even though you're over the amount of the equity, that would be a problem in a Chapter 7. No one's looking to take your house in a Chapter 13. It may affect how much you have to pay per month, because one of the rules in a Chapter 13 is you can't pay less than to the creditors in a 13 than would be available in a Chapter 7. So it may affect possibly the length of the plan or how much you have to pay, but no one's looking to take your house on the Chapter 13 side if you're able to continue to make the payments.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry for too much questions. I have one last question.
Don't be. These are great questions.
For Chapter 7, who appraises the house? You guys go by market-wise, what's selling around my house, or somebody comes out to the house and appraises?
Fatma has consulted with about 15 lawyers so far. Go ahead.
Well, it's never a bad idea
to be honest with you, I have not consulted with anybody.
Well, you should. I mean, that's good. I'm not making a negative or pejorative comment. I'm saying good for you being educated and hearing from more than one person. What is wrong with that?
Oh, I'm totally in agreement. The only bad question is the question you don't ask. These are great. Keep them coming, Fatma. So in terms of, it's never a bad idea to get an appraisal. It might cost you $300, $350, $400. But a really good, robust interior appraisal from someone who's getting paid a certain amount to do the appraisal. So if what they're getting paid isn't based on the outcome, that's good. You don't want that appraiser to have any kind of a conflict or any kind of dog in the fight. So it's never a bad idea to get an appraisal to figure out exactly what your house is worth before you file.
Fatma, we did not hear anything you said because repeat, please.
I thank you very much for all the advice.
You are
I really
more.
love your program. I like your...
Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you for calling. Fatma's question was like a sitting for the bar law exam kind of question.
I like it.
Because it talks about the difference between Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. It talks about businesses. It talks about equity. It talks about debt renegotiation. It talks about, a plan modification if you do Chapter 13. It talks about, taking the home from his name to their name. So it's a lot in one question. We thank you for calling. And I don't know that I'm going to try to translate as best I can. I don't think I'm going to be able to do everything you said justice. But خلاصة الأمر سؤال في تقريبا 5-6 أسئلة. أول شيء حكينا عن إذا زوجة مؤهل إنه يقدم تشابتر 7 مش تشابتر 13. وبيقول المحامي مايكل بانكستين إنه الظاهر لأنه عنده مورجج وعنده equity ببيته 80 ل 90 ألف ما رح يقدر يقدم تشابتر 7. العالم تتمنى تقدم تشابتر 7 لأنه تشابتر 7 بتمحي لهم كل ديونهم. تشابتر 13 بيردوا، بتمحي لهم ديون بس بيردوا حسب قدرتهم. الشغلتين اللي حكينا انه كونه هو عنده الدين تبعه كريدت كاردز تقريبا $50,000. هل يا ترى الحل هو ولا تشابتر 7 ولا تشابتر 13 بس شيء اسمه debt renegotiation؟ وحكينا هون انه كقاعده عامه الكريدت كاردز من بعد تقريبا مفاوضات سنه لسنه ونص بيطلبوا ان a full sum تقريبا 40 ل 45% من الدين. يعني اذا بتروح بطريقه debt renegotiation بدها تاخذ معه سنه لسنه ونص، ورح يطلبوا الكريدت كاردز انه يرد لهم بدفعه وحده بين $20,000 و $25,000. سألت سؤال كتير جيد انه اذا قدم تشابتر 13 هو للاشخاص اللي مؤهلين انه باخر الشهر من بعد ما يدخلوا المدخول ويدفعوا مصاريف بيبقى لهم شويه مصاري ليردوا ديون، جزء من الديون. السؤال هون هل إذا وبما إنه التشابتر 13 هي مسيرة عمرها بين 3 ل 5 سنوات، يعني الإنسان بقلب تشابتر 13 وعم بيرد كل شهر ورا شهر شوية مصاري ليلي بدهم منه مصاري. هون كمان سألت إذا مدخول زوجة علي أو وطي شو بيصير بهيدي الدفعة اللي بتندفع كل شهر. بإلا إذا وطي يعني يمكن بلش هلا وبيقدر يدفع $300 بالشهر، بس يمكن مدخوله بعد 6 أشهر أو سنة يصير أقل. ساعتها بنقدر نعمل شيء اسمه بلان موديفيكيشن لأنه صار مدخوله أقل. بس الشغلة الحلوة إنه إذا صار مدخوله أكتر ما عنده واجبات قانونية إنه يتصل بالبانكربسي تراستي أو يتصل بالمحكمة ويقول لهم أنا صار فيني رد مصاري أكتر لأنه صرت أعمل مصاري أكتر. وآخر شغلة رح أحكي عنها بتقول الست فاطمة إنه هي عندهم البيت بس اسمه مش على التايتل، اسمه هو فقط على التايتل. أغلبية البيوت بين رجال ومرأة هن together with joint rights of survivors. بالنسبة لهذا الكابل هو بس اسمه على التايتل، فطرحت عليه وهيدا شغلة منطقية الإنسان يفكر فيها إنه بما إنه أنا قانونيا لا سمح الله إذا صار في وفاة أو لو صار في طلاق أنا بحق لي بالنص أصلا هات له إنه يقلب التايتل من اسمه لاسمي أو يحطه باسم الاثنين. وهون مننبه على شغلة، مع إنه متزوجين ومع إنه لو صار في طلاق لا سمح الله أو وفاة لا سمح الله بيكون عندها هاي الحقوق، بما بخص الإفلاس ما عندها حق. يعني إذا عملتها على عبس، إذا عملها إنه نقل التايتل من اسمه لاسمها هي عملها على عبس، لأنه بقانون البانكربسي دايما التراستي بيطلع 6 years back 6 سنين لورا. إن شاء الله أنا عاطي بيت لبنتي عاطيته من 5 سنين من 4 سنين وما في نية كوميت فراد بنتي هي، إذا عطيتها إياه for less than market value، يعني إذا هديتها إياه أو إذا عطيتها بيت قيمته $500,000 ب100,000 أو إذا قدمت لها إياه less than fair market value بعيون الترستي تعتبر كأنها fraudulent conveyance، كأنها شغلة بالاحتيال وتعتبر كأنه ما انتقلت. يعني محاولة الزوجة أنه يقلب التايتل من اسمه لاسمها هي شغلة خاسرة، لأنه قانونيا مع أنه هن رجال ومرأة تعتبر it's a fraudulent conveyance لأنه معمولة ضمن 6 سنين من تقديمه إلى البانكربسي. منذكر أنه نحن مثل كل نهار ثلاثة بنتكلم عن موضوع البانكربسي. اللي بحب يتصل بحب يشارك، نشكر السيدة فاطمة اللي شاركت ووضحت لنا كتير أمور. اللي بحب يتصل تعليق أو مشاركة أو سؤال، رقم الاتصال 313-769-6666 ومن وينزر 519-256-1023. Attorney Michael Bengstein, I was watching some of Süze Orman's clips and I said that they are so nice because they're very short and they are to the point. Anybody can understand them. They asked her, what are the top 3 things you can tell people to do, after bankruptcy? And I'm going to share one of them. So she said, the first thing I will tell people, so we're talking to people who emerge out of bankruptcy. They are they just finished their Chapter 7, all their debts are discharged and they have a new start. Or the same with, Chapter 13, where they have to make payments a little bit every month for 3 to 5 years. Her advice is, and I'm going to read it, live below your means, but within your needs. Live below your means, but within your needs. شو يعني؟ يعني كل إنسان يصرف فقط مصاري على اللي بيحتاجه فقط. So سألوها, how do you do that? How do you know that you are living below your means? يعني you're spending less money than you have. That's below your means, but only within your needs. So she goes, by buying, how do you know you're living below your means but within your needs? She says, by buying what you need, not what you want. So always ask that question. What I have in front of me, do I need it or do I want it? I need food from the grocery store. I want food from a restaurant. There is a difference. Food from a grocery store is a need. Food from a restaurant is a want. So live below your means and within your needs. She goes, food from a grocery store is a need. Medicine is a need. Eating at a restaurant is a want. Buying stuff that you don't need is a want.
And so, that $4 cup of coffee at the Starbucks every morning really adds up.
Or you are working and you go out to lunch. You spend anywhere between $8 and $15 for lunch. It adds up 5 days a week. And before we take a call, I want to continue because she did say something else. Somebody else along those lines said to her, what about this shame factor about filing for bankruptcy? We have talked about that so many times and it bears repeating. And I love what she said. She goes, if this is your first time, don't feel shame because you are not alone. You're standing with a group of people who are in the same situation. But you know what she said? She said, and I did not know that, Attorney Michael Bankstein, tell me if you agree. She goes, the problem is that those who file bankruptcy once file twice. That means you did not learn your lessons. We're not talking about people who lose their jobs. We're talking about people whose behavior with money and the kind of lifestyle that they are leading. She said those who file bankruptcy one time tend to file a second time. She goes, that means you did not learn. So she goes, when you file bankruptcy the first time, there is no shame. You are learning things, even if you brought it onto yourself. If you stop and if you learn if you reflect on what got you to be in the situation you are now finding yourself, and assuming it's not an illness, and assuming it's not loss of a job, but it's what the rest of us do. Okay? She goes, stop, learn the lessons. But if you file a second time, that means you did not learn your lessons from the first filing. And she goes, so the first time, don't feel the shame. You're not alone. You stand with you're standing with a group of people. The second time, she says, and she's very straightforward. She goes, the second time, Süze will say, shame on you. So the first time, no shame. The second time, shame on you. And I understand the point she's making. There is no judgment here, whether it's the first time, a second time, a third time. The point is that one is supposed to learn to the extent that there are lessons in every bad outcome. Sometimes things happen without anybody having done anything wrong. But sometimes hindsight being 2020, you can go back and you will say, okay, here is what I'm going to do different.
And bankruptcy, not as many people realize this, bankruptcy is kind of designed to make it so that you don't have to file for bankruptcy again. So,
well,
when
8 years later, you can.
You can, but for example, Congress requires that before you can file a bankruptcy, you have to do a pre-bankruptcy credit counseling session. Kind of designed to, do you really need to file for bankruptcy or do you not? And then after you filed for bankruptcy, there's a second credit counseling course that you have to take before you can actually wipe out the debts. And that's really designed where they go over your budget and the difference between wants and needs and trying to keep this from happening in the future. And most people do file just once, but, there is a real learning moment there where, boy, I'm never going to do this again. I like, whatever happened, and I'm going to fix it now and never get into this again. Or I have seen up to 7 bankruptcies for one person.
Okay, so is this person 100 years old?
No.
Okay. Okay. So, Rami, if you don't mind, we'll take one more caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, أهلا
Excuse
وسهلا.
me, Hala Biki, Khatib speaking. Kindly, my house title is written by my name, but it is written married man. If I die tomorrow, does my wife will suffer after, or I have to add my wife's name to the title?
Who are we speaking with?
Khatib.
خطيب. شكرا استاذ خطيب. سؤالك استاذ خطيب هو سؤال بيتخطى اختصاصنا. سؤالك is a probate question.
Actually, it's not a bankruptcy.
It's not a bankruptcy question. It is a probate question. What happens when a husband passes, إن شاء الله عمر طويل, والتايتل هو باسمه مش باسمه واسم مرته, with joint rights of survivorship? Attorney Michael Bankstein, care to answer, or should we pass on this because this is a probate question?
It's right at the intersection between probate and real property. I don't pretend to be able to give you any probate advice. I can tell you, though, it's titled in your name. And
married man or not does not matter.
Married man
does not
right,
matter.
but it doesn't say who your spouse is. If it said Hatib and and it had her name on it too, then she'd be on it. And then you might have some of that joint tenant with the survivorship passing by operation of law. But at least the way that you're saying it is it's just in your name. So that is definitely a probate question.
استاذ خطيب, نصيحتي لك انه تتكلم مع محامي probate, لانه يمكن هيدي شغلة مهمة, ويمكن هيدي شغلة لازم تدركها هلا and do something about it هلا before it's too late.
Exactly right.
So I would advise you to find a probate attorney and consult and then act accordingly. The motto of my law firm is know your rights and act accordingly. اعرف حقوقك and then act accordingly.
No. Thank you so much. I highly appreciate your time and answer.
Thank you, Hatib. I wish you the best.
Thank you for this lovely question. سؤال جيد جدا, وبنشكر انه اتصل, مع انه ما اعطيناه الجواب لانه سؤاله بخص شيء بسموه probate law, estate and trust and probate law. سؤاله لازم يكون موجه لمحامي عنده هذا الاختصاص. سؤاله هو رجل متزوج, اسمه على تايتل البيت بس مش اسم زوجته, وإنما التايتل بيقول اسمه a married man. إنه حاطط a married man ما إلى أي أهمية قانونيا. سؤاله بإذن الله من بعد عمر طويل إذا توفى شو بيصير بالبيت, وهون بنطلب منه للأستاذ خطيب أنه يتكلم مع محامي بهيدا الاختصاص, لأنه يمكن النتيجة ما تكون لصالحه. ما حدا بيريد يتوفى ويترك وراء مس, ما حدا بيريد يتوفى ويترك وراء مشاكل لعائلته ومحاكم إلى آخره. ياخد استشارة أكيد مجانية من محامي بهيدا الاختصاص, ومن بعد ما يفهم شو consequences. شو يعني consequences بالعربي؟ ظروف consequences, نتائج. شو نتائج انه يضل اسمه او انه يحط اسمه واسم زوجته. ساعتها بياخد القرار. مش نقدر دايما بنقول know your rights and act accordingly. اعرف حقوقك. اذا ما بتعرف حقوقك كيف بدك تتصرف؟ تتعرف حقوقك لتقدر تتصرف على هذا الاساس. بدي انتقل لسؤال انسأل لسوزي أورمان, كمان لأشخاص طلعوا من البانكربسي, واللي سألها كان شخص طالع من البانكربسي وللأسف خسر بيته, راح على foreclosure. السؤال انه انا بدي استأجر بيت, شو بدي اعمل لقوي ثقة صاحب الاجار فيي؟ لانه اكيد اللاندلورد رح يطلب الكريدت ريبورت تبعي, ورح يشوف انه انا مقدم على البانكربسي, ورح يشوف انه صار عندي foreclosure, ويمكن يرفض انه يأجرني. The question, Attorney Michael Bankstein, is Süze Orman was asked the following question. I filed for bankruptcy. I lost my home via a foreclosure. I want to rent. I know my landlord or prospective landlords are going to get my credit report, and they will see that I have filed for bankruptcy, and they will know that my house was foreclosed upon. What can I do to instill trust in the landlord so that she or he will accept to have me as a tenant?
Well, it may involve a slightly higher security deposit. The better your credit score, the lower the security deposit. There were times when I rented and I had no security deposit at all. You know, if your score is lower, the security deposit may be higher. They're going to look at what's happened since the bankruptcy. So if you filed for bankruptcy a year ago, and since you filed for bankruptcy, you've paid everything on time. You know, if you've got even having something like the electric bill in your name, the gas bill in your name, and paying it on time, they're going to look at recent activity.
So you're talking about people who may have filed and it's been 6 months or a year, so they can point, they can show the landlord how good they've been, how responsible they've been in the past 6 months or 1 year.
That's right.
As a way to show the landlord evidence of willingness to pay and responsibility in paying.
That's correct. That definitely helps.
She says a couple of things, and they're unrelated to what you say, because I think the person who asked that question had just gotten out of bankruptcy, lost his home, and needed to rent. She goes 2 things: honesty plus money up front. Honesty, do not wait for your landlord to check your credit report to find out that you filed for bankruptcy and to find out that you lost your home. Tell them before they find that out, and tell them the reasons. So be proactive. They're going to find out, because most, maybe not all, but most landlords will pull your credit report. So be proactive. You know, be very proactive. Let them know, listen, I want to tell you I had to file for bankruptcy, and here are the reasons why. That's number 1. Number 2, she goes, to instill a faith in them that you're likely to be a paying tenant, save as much money as you can, and if you can pay like 6-month rent up front, that will make the landlord feel secure about your ability to pay. And of course, that advice, not everybody can follow it, not everybody can save 6 months up front, but to the extent that you can, to the extent that you can find the money, you may be able to find a landlord who will agree to rent out to you.
That's great advice.
It is. It really is very, very good advice. We cannot take any more calls because we have about 5 or 6 minutes remaining. But I want to talk about something very quickly. Attorney Michael Bankstein, who I don't think we've ever said on the radio. When someone files for bankruptcy, the interest rate on the credit card stops, right?
That's correct.
It doesn't matter in a Chapter 7 because all of your debt is going to be wiped out. But it's going to matter in a Chapter 13.
That's
because
right.
You're there for about 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, it's you're paying a percentage of the principal in existence on the day the case is filed. The interest stops on the credit cards.
I don't think we've ever said that before. ما بفتكر سابقا أيلينا وقت الإنسان بيقدم bankruptcy إن كانت Chapter 7 أو Chapter 13 الفوائد على الكريدت كاردز بيعملوا فريز نهار التقديم. للي بيقدموا Chapter 7 ما كتير بيهمهم هذا الموضوع، لأنه بنهاية Chapter 7 ديونهم كلها على الكريدت كاردز رح تنتهي. بس للي بيقدموا Chapter 13 ومسيرتهم 3 ل 5 سنين وعم بيردوا المصاري شوي شوي، كتير مهمة إلهم وإتس جود نيوز إلهم. هيدي خبرية سعيدة وجيدة ليلي مقدمين Chapter 13 يعرفوا إنه الانترست، الفوائد على الكريدت كارد نهار اللي قدموا للتشابتر 13، حتى لو هن باقيين بالتشابتر 13 3 سنين و3 سنين ونص و4 سنين ونص و5 سنين، مش they're not trying to catch up، مش انه هن بيدفعوا والفايدة عم تعلى، وهن بيدفعوا. حكينا بالماضي عن شيء اسمه compound interest on the interest and interest on the interest on the interest إلى آخره، ورح نرجع نحكي بهيدا الموضوع بهيدي المواضيع بالمستقبل. خلاصة الأمر، الإنسان اللي بيقدم بانكربسي، نهار اللي بيقدم بانكربسي الفوائد تبعه بتوقف. ليلي عنده تشابتر 7 يمكن مش كتير مهمة، ليلي عنده تشابتر 13 هيدي شغلة مهمة لحتى يطمن باله انه الفوائد بها3 ل5 سنين ما بعدها عم تعلى أكتر وأكتر وأكتر. رامي، بكرة بإذن الله عنا المحامي هاورد رادنر رح يكون ضيفنا كمان مرة لنحكي عن قضايا السليب اند فول، التريب اند فول، تقريبا بالمعدل اللي بيجي معنا مرة بالشهر، بس مش رح يقدر يكون موجود الأسبوع القادم، فرح يكون موجود بكرة. بحب أقول كمان بطريقة سريعة، بما أنه ما رح أقدر أتكلم عن هالمواضيع على الأربعاء اللي من بعدهم الله راد، حكينا شوي عن الإي سيجارات وأنه قديش هن مضرين. The first confirmed death from e-cigarettes يمكن أكيد قريتها بالأخبار، هي بولاية إلينوي جارتنا، والأوفيشلز أعلنوا officially أنه هذا الولد توفى بسبب الإي سيجارات. هي أول نقطة. تاني نقطة بحب أقولها، بحلقات سابقة حكينا عن قانون حوادث السيارات، وحكينا كيف هذا القانون اللي مضيته حاكمة الولاية مفروض الفكرة هي إنه رح يوفر البريميوم على هذا الأشخاص، على الأشخاص. وإجينا اتصال من شخص قال إنه جدد هلأ الانشورنس تبعه، وكتير عليت الانشورنس ريتس تبعه. وقلت له أنا أنه بالمبدأ هيدا مش مفروض يصير. Well, I have news for you. في محاميين زملاء إلي كمان هن are reporting the same thing. في زميل من الزملاء طلعت الانشورنس ريت تبعه، ونحن بنعرف أنه ما بقى بيقدروا يستعملوا الكريدت سكور ابتداء من 11 حزيران هيدي السنة. الكريدت سكور ما بقى عامل من العوامل، ما في عنده أي تغيير، ما عنده مخالفات سيرية، ما عنده حوادث سيارات، ما غير، ما نقل بيته، الانشورنس ريت تبعه عليت 20%. للأسف the whole idea من تغيير هيدا القانون انه البريميومز بدهم يصيروا اقل، اللي عم ببلش يبين واللي نحن خفنا منه واللي قلنا let's wait and see. العالم اللي عم تقلب لانه عندهم 6 months او عندهم 1 year. كتير اشخاص عم are reporting انه عم يعلى البريميوم تبعهم للأسف.
جمانة، شكرا لك على هذه المعلومات. أكيد راح تعطينا معلومات تفاصيل أكثر عن هذا الموضوع المهم أيضا، يعني وخاصة إذا كان أكو طريقة للناس اللي يواجهون نفس المشكلة، إذا كان في طريقة يعملون ريبورت على هذا الموضوع عن طريقكم، عن طريق المحامين، ولا في طريقة ثانية؟
نعم، نحن المحاميين we are gathering that information. بعدين there is the insurance commission, the insurance commissioner اللي هو بيراقب كل الانشورنس companies. كمان we can report to them, we can file a complaint أو call the complaint with the insurance, the Michigan insurance commissioner.
تمام، إن شاء الله بالمستقبل القريب نحكي أكثر عن هذه.
ونحن نطلب من أي مستمع إنه عم بيصير في ذات الشيء يبلغنا بليز.
ممتاز، شكرا لك مرة ثانية جمانة.
وشكرا للمحامي مايكل بانكستين.
Thank you Rami. Thank you Joumana.
نشكر لكم مستمعين أكيد حسن المتابعة. دمتم في رعاية الله.